Hey, this is Chris Field here today. We're talking about the Internet of Things in Norway. So, what is the IoT? The IoT, or the Internet of Things, describes physical objects with sensors, processing ability, software, and other technologies that connect and exchange data with other devices and systems over the Internet or other communications networks. So, some real life examples of those would be your ring cameras, your smartwatches. Think about those cool sensors that are in the grocery stores that are keeping track of when you walk into a certain aisle, how long you were there, if those lights turn on, and how long they should. Not to mention, again, in the grocery stores, there are all sorts of sensors that are keeping track of temperatures, making sure that your milk does not get too warm or that it does not get too much light. There's a very interesting study on that we will cover at another time. So, about the Internet of Things in Norway. Norway is pretty renowned for their acceptance of new technological leaps. They love their new things. What is pretty interesting, though, is their acceptance is been noted to be remarkably practical. They basically only like to apply new things to where necessary. And a reasoning behind that is they like polished products. They don't want to just start putting in some new things that aren't finished or are likely to break, etc. So, an interesting application for this, I got two here for you. The first one, the Norwegian fisheries. Currently, they're using Internet of Things to monitor and protect both their native salmon populations as well as in their actual fish farms. If you know anything about Scandinavia, you know that fish is a big central part of their culture and their diet and all sorts of cool stuff. So specifically, they are keeping lice populations or louse under control, and they're even able to predict outbreaks with them by utilizing these arrays of cameras and sensors. They can physically see the fish. They can monitor chemical changes within the waters, all sorts of cool stuff. So they know when to give these fish some, medicine and help get rid of these lice. Another interesting one, some wastewater management applications. So there are sensors within the wastewater treatment facilities. These are able to see what sort of chemicals are reaching there. So, birth control, antibiotics, all these other interesting things that we hear about in the States. They're keeping track of them there. Within residential homes, they're able to keep track of how much water is being used where. Very interesting way of tracking how much water is being used. If you have a water leak, there's actually some cool devices out there that you can shut off remotely, shut off the entire water supply to your house without actually being there. Not to mention also keeping track of what's going down the stormwater drains and the sewers themselves within the big cities. So, big setback as far as adoption of more IoT things. Largest current issue would be cell service or mobile connectivity. In a previous presentation, we talked about 5G. Norway is on track to have pretty much their entire country covered by 2030. Currently, only about 90% is covered by 4G. 4G just does not provide proper bandwidth or latency that's needed for these Internet of Things devices. And for cool fact or fictions, number one, most Norwegians own boats. Those boats have sensors to alert the owners and immediately start pumping water out. Two, a new quote unquote longship project aims to capture atmospheric CO2 and store it deep within the sea. And three, Norway is working to establish a large Zigbee network in order to more efficiently run their Internet of Things devices. Thanks.